Hello and welcome to The Machine. I'm your host, George Giduma, and today we are going to be talking about the Integrated Development Environment. We will be understanding what an IDE is. We'll then look at some examples of IDEs that are out there, and then we'll download an IDE and install it. And then lastly, we'll look at the different features that the installed IDE has. But before we go into that, if you're new here, subscribe and hit that bell icon to get notified when new content comes up. Also, give that video a thumbs up so that the algorithm can recommend it to more cool people like you. And finally, support the channel through the links that are in the description. So if you have done all that, let's get started. What is an integrated development environment, or IDE? An integrated development environment is a software application that provides a comprehensive development environment for developers to create, edit, and manage code. An IDE typically includes a code editor, a debugger, a build automation tool, and other features that make the development process easier and more efficient. IDEs can be language specific or support multiple programming languages, and they are widely used across a range of industries and applications, from web development to mobile app development and even to game development. Some of popular examples of IDE include Visual Studio Code, we have PyCharm, we have Xcode, and then we have Visual Studio Code. So to understand what an IDE is, we're going to look at the Visual Studio Code, or VS Code. And this is a free open source code editor developed by Microsoft for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux operating system. It provides a rich, customizable development environment for creating and editing code. According to Wikipedia, as of 2022, it has 74% usage in the world based on 71,000 respondents surveyed. So this will be our code editor, and next we are going to look at how to download it and install it. So to download and install VS Code, you want to go to the official VS Code site and download the version that corresponds to your operating system. So let's just go and do that. Here we go. Here's the link. Don't worry about the link. I'll put it in the description so that you can be able to see it and interact with it later. So this is the download page, and if you look at the download page, you can see there's a download button here. So if you go to the download button, it brings us to a page whereby it gives you an option. It gives you an option of either Windows, we have the Linux version here, and then we have the Mac version here. So if you're on whatever operating system, you choose whatever you want, and you just click on it, and once you click on it, it will download. And like for example, myself, I'm on Linux, and we're going to be downloading the Debian version. So if I click the Debian version, you can see it just automatically brings me a download, but I've already downloaded it, so there's no need of doing that. So I'll just cancel the download. Okay. But you yourself, you can go ahead and just download whichever that you want. Also, you want to check on your architecture. So you can see there's different architectures here, and so currently we have the x64, and okay, we have the x64, we usually have the x86, and then we have the ARM64. So this one is the 64-bit Intel chip. So x64, when you see x64, is the Intel based 64-bit chip, and then x86 is the 32-bit Intel chip, processor chip. Then if you the MacBook came with a new version called M1 chips, and they run on a chip called ARM. So there's ARM32 and there's ARM64. So depending on your architecture, choose the one that you want. But however, the website is intelligent enough to be able to read your architecture. So if you just click on, let's say, the Debian one, it will give you the one that you need. If you like, for example, if I click on my Debian, you should be able to see, like, it already tells me it's an ARM64 Debian because I'm running a Mac M1 chip. Once you do that, just download that, and in my case, we're going to be doing a command line interface install. And if you're not familiar with the command line interface, you want to go and check my previous video, coding tools episode 1, and you should be able to get familiar with the command line interface so that you understand some of these commands that we are running. I'll not try to explain them here. So let me close the download part, and now because I have the download already there, I want to open my terminal. So I'll just come here and open the terminal, or you can do Control Alt T, which will open your terminal. But since mine is just up there, I'll go ahead and do that. And then let me just enlarge this a bit for your case. Exactly. So once you've done that, you want to cd into the download folder. So as I told you, once you use a tab, it will autocomplete for you. Yeah, so let's do that. And now we're in the download, and we want to list it and see what is inside there. So you can see there's this file that you have downloaded. It has a .deb at the end. So when you see the .deb at the end, that is a file that we're going to be using. And then now you want to actually install it. And how do you install it? So you're going to run this command. So you're going to do a sudo. Sudo basically stands for super user do. So super user do is it gives you root privileges. So it gives you administrator privileges to your computer so that you can install and uninstall things. Okay, and then you want to run the dpkg. Dpkg stands for Debian package. So D is for Debian and pkg is for package. And then you want to do I is for install, and then you want to call the file that you've written. So I'll just complete it because I can't write all these other things. And then you want to click run, and then it will ask you for your password. So make sure you put your password. I'll not tell you mine. So you can see now it's telling me what it's doing. So it's gonna read it's reading the database currently, and then preparing to unpack the code. So it has read the database, and now it's preparing to unpack. So it's setting up the code, and it finally installed it. So that's all that you need to do. And then now you can now open it using the command line interface again by running this code. Just write code and then click enter, and we should see our Visual Studio Code opening. So that's for the installation part, and next we are going to have a little bit of a tour around this and understand what the different parts do. Now we have our code editor opened, and let me see if we can make it bigger for you. So you can do that with the Control plus button. Yeah. So yeah, we have it a bit bigger, and you can be able to see how it looks. So let's start with the first thing. At the top here we have the toolbar, and here is where you have the file, edit, selection, view, go, run, terminal. All these, they help you to run. If you open the file, you can see all that information. The edit, these ones help you to do different things when you're interacting with your document. So that is the toolbar section. Then the next section is the coding area, and this is your coding area. You can see this is a document. You can close it, but this is your coding area. And basically, as of now, it opens with a page to be able to customize things. And let me just reduce it again to see. Yeah, so you can be able to customize your page. You see it's tell you getting started with VS Code, so you can browse for themes and all this. You can use Markdown here. You can choose the type of you want a dark one, you want a dark high contrast, you want a light high contrast, or a light one. You can just basically customize. So this is up to you. You play with it and just explore that. Okay, I want you also to just learning is part of learning is doing it yourself and trying to see what is there. Then you have the Explorer part, and this is the icon that when you click here, the Explorer leads you to a part whereby with this one, with this icon, you can it's where you can view and manage your project files and folders. You can use it to open new or existing projects or folders you want to work on. So if you can see here, it says open folder, and if you click on it, it can lead you to document and all that. So you can go to, let's say, desktop and open a document and create something there. So however, this in this session, I'm not going to get deep into it. I just want to show you the layout, and then you can test it out yourself. And then we have the search. This one, you can be able to use it to search the panel where you can find you can search for text. You can search the text that are inside your code. So for example, if you're writing code here, you can be able to use this to search and replace. For example, you can do a replacement of let's say a selection of words, and you can do a replacement. And then next one, you have the source control here, this icon, and this it opens the source code control panel, and where you can manage your Git repository, which is a version control system, and we're going to be looking at it in episode 3. So don't worry about it much. So this is you can use it to check your coding. You can be able to check for your Git repository. So for example, you see it can ask you to open a folder which has Git, or you can clone a repository. We're gonna learn a bit about this a bit later, so don't worry about that. Then you have the extension. Before we go to the extension, you have the debugging, and is where you can configure and run your debugging session. So debugging is whereby, so this is the icon for debugging. So debugging is whereby you want to, maybe your code has a problem and you want to go step by step and see how it's performing. So this is what is used for debugging. So you can run a debugging session on your code using this tool. And then lastly, we have the extension, and this the extension, and this extensions are basically small software programs that are installed to add extra functionality and features to the code. So this include language support and beautifying of text, among others. So we are not going to be installing any. You can see they've come, so you can see the you can see, like, for example, if it's Python, if it's Jupyter Notebooks, if it's if it's C++. So all these extensions are there to support you in whichever language you're using. So we'll be working on this a bit later in the next episode, so stick around and wait for episode 3, whereby we shall do a bit more with this. Okay, that is all for this session, and I hope you've been able to know what an IDE is and what a code editor is. And if you want to play around with it, I recommend you start from the documentation. And let me just reduce that so that I can be able to take you to the documentation. And the documentation page is here. Let me just click and add that there. Let me just paste it there. Yeah, so you want to go to the documentation, and let me just close this. You want to go to the documentation, and you can see here there's an overview. So there's an overview, there's get setup, get started, user guide, source control, terminal, languages, node, and actually it has an integrated terminal, but this one will be looking at it in a much later time, not now. But yeah, you can go into it and read this documentation. It's a good place to start. Just explore it, and trust me, you'll feel nice when you discover things for yourself, other than just being taught by someone on the online. Also, I recommend you use this session. There's Udemy course, a free Udemy course by Alan Simpson. So let me also put a link to that here for you. All these links, I'll be putting them in the description so you can be able to use them. So I don't really leave you high and dry. I give you something to work with. So you can go into that, and beginner VS Code, and best free code editor for Mac and Windows, and free tutorial, and it's by this guy here. It's called Alan Simpson. You can enroll into that and study some more. And then lastly, if you're YouTube person, I got you. I got you. So if you're a YouTube person, as usual, you know my YouTube go-to is Free Code Camp. So they have this amazing page whereby you can be able to learn a lot. So let's see. Yeah, sorry for the advertisements, and yeah, some people are kissing there. Sorry for that. So yeah, you can. This is a 4-hour session whereby you can just actually become a pro on Visual Studio Code. So this course is taught by, let's see who's taught, Bitfumes, and he has his own channel, which has been, you can go onto his own channel, or you can use the Free Code Camp, and you can be able to learn different things using this. So I hope that has been helpful for you. I look forward to seeing you next week. I also want to thank you for all the people who have watched the previous video, and also for the ones who have subscribed. If you have not yet done so, please subscribe, share this video with somebody who might need this knowledge, and also remember to support the channel. I'll be putting the links to how you can support the channel on the channel. See you, and looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. As I told you, we're going to be looking at Git, so you want to come through, and this will be an exciting one. Have a good one, and see you next time.